Hey, this is Joe from Trek AI. I wanted to share with you what we're working on as far as core content integration to literacy. Today, we're going to be focusing on social studies. So I'm going to share my screen with you here, and we're going to get going. Uh, this is Trek. Happy to share more about Trek with you whenever you would like to talk about it. Joe at trekai.org. But today we're going to be kind of focused in quickly here about social studies integration to reading. So I was just working with a school in Kentucky, so they're kind of top of mind, and their ask was, "Hey, how do we integrate social studies properly? We don't have a lot of time in the day." And so I went to the Kentucky State Education website, fifth grade social studies, and just found some standards. It looks like analyzing how the federal government was set up. And I'm going to put those standards into Trek. And so, how easy it is, literally just go to custom topic, and I'm going to cut, paste those standards in. I'm going to clean this up a little bit just for my amusement here. You probably don't need to, but I like to think that it helps. And so you could add in custom vocab words. So if you're working on spelling words for the week or science words, say, hey, we're working on these words in science. Let's put them in so we can do like cross curricular. We can do science, social studies, and reading at once. Then we can also work in grammar concepts. This is the easiest thing ever to go across the hall. Got to go this way and say, hey, you just talk to the social or the language arts teacher. Hey, what are you working on this week? Oh, we're working on commas. Great. We're going to add commas into our story now. You can set the availability to have students be able to read this at home during the school day, whenever they want. So now that is how easy it is to get set up if you're the teacher. Now, this is the student side of Trek. Trek can do a lot of things, tutor, quiz, proofread papers, that kind of thing. But today we're just going to be taking a look at Trek Adventure. And students are going to be able to choose what genre they want to read from. So there are 12 different topics here. We're working on being able to do some customized topics, like sports, that kind of thing. And right now, Trek is generating three separate stories for the student to pick from. And so if you imagine a class 24 students, all of them got to choose what genre they pick, and they get to pick their own story. So there's a low chance that they're going to be reading the same story. And all these are being generated in real time. So there's no like passing a note from class to class or something like that. This is a mystery. And so we have the case of the missing gavel, the preamble puzzle, and the secrets of the three branch fort. Okay, that sounds awesome. There's a little preview about Gabe and Sophie here that have built a neighborhood treehouse with three separate areas to represent separation of powers. This is really exciting. So I'm going to choose this book. And right now, Trek is generating the story. They are also going to get assessed on their reading comprehension every 5 turns of the page. And so there's no cheating. There's no way that a note could get passed, from class to class with the answers on it, something like that. Kids still do that. And this is totally unique. So when I do PD, I talk about having non-linear learning opportunities in your classroom. And what that means is opportunities for kids not to be in like a scripted situation. And that happens a lot where we run out of time or resources and we just say, hey, everyone's doing the same thing. Everyone's reading the same passage, everyone's reading the same book. Well, kids do like routine, but repetitive routine becomes boredom. So at least this way, all of this is done and chosen by the student. So we have now we actually get into our story. Gabe brushed sawdust off the brass bound chest, and Sophie traced the three keyholes, which were shaped like a scroll, an arrow, and a tiny balance. Okay. Grandpa's note rested on a legislative deck. And so we obviously have this story that we're going to be reading, and the kids get to pick how the story goes. So you can see that there's two things here. Ooh, visit the ranger station sounds interesting. So Gabe and Sophie followed the ranger station arrow, and the blue star sticker on the edge seemed to wink at them if it approved of their careful thinking. So this story is imaginative, it is engaging. I have a fifth grader and a second grader and a 3-year-old, but my fifth grader and second grader love Magic Treehouse stories, and this is every Trek adventure story reminds me of a Magic Treehouse story. But again, we're staying on task, on target, and on our standards. Um, and so they're going through. I'm going to try to breeze through here. But they flipped through the binder. A folded note fell out. On it, Grandpa had written, "Rule of law means even leaders follow the same rules. And popular sovereignty means that the people guide the rules." Okay. So we're talking about how the branches of government were created and how they function. If we go back quickly to our standards here, we're going to be just taking a quick look. Analyze the development and establishment of the U.S. federal government, analyze structure of the U.S. government, including separation of power audits, uh, and its systems, and checks and balances, and describe how the Constitution of the United States uphold popular sovereignty. That was our word that we just read. Ensures rule of law and establishes a federal system. So we're going in. And I'm not doing a great job reading right now. Kids would be a lot more engaged here, but I'm trying to hold out for time's sake. They compare the bulletin board scheduled with the Grove loop, signed by path, and Sophie discovered the time is matched only if you lined up. So this is a mystery, remember. So these two kids in the story are going through a mystery. So now we are going to start our quiz. And this quiz, if you see, is going to be focused on our standards. So this is the most fun way to quiz a kid. We just read this like fun, imaginative story, and now they get to take a quiz. Um, and I did not actually read all this, um, but feeling lucky. 13 points, not bad. So kids love Kahoot, like I said. So this is a fun way for them to engage with the class. There's a little class ranking system here, how everyone's doing. Um, and so they could see their name up on the leaderboard for their class. And the story is going to continue. You could gamify this and say, hey, you have to read until you get to 30 points, 50 points, something like an AR test kind of thing. But they're not just reading a random book. Not that reading random books are bad, but this is for that reading block or that social studies block where we want to focus in more. At the end, there actually is a book recommender. So one of the things that we're trying really hard at Trek to do is get kids off the computer faster. Kind of that 2 hour learning model where we can condense their day as far as academics go, so they have time to go do dance, PE, home ec, what all of the fun things. Not that learning isn't fun, but you know what I mean. All the things that we want to be able to provide our students nowadays, and we know is good for them. The teacher kind of gets a glimpse on what the student read so they can go through and see the story unfold so they can ask the kids, hey, what did you read about? Then they can also go in and customize the reading level. So if I'm, got a student, they're really struggling, I can knock the reading level down. Um, on the same note, if they're reading at a really high level, I can up the rigor a little bit. And this is where the teacher really is the expert still. Last thing I'll show you is there is text to speech. I know my son loves doing, read alouds.
Abe tucked the blue ribbon key into his pocket, and Sophie traced the arrows on.
So, put the headphones in, get reading, have fun. Then it's unfolding more like a movie. And then we have dyslexic friendly font built in real time. And so it's just a flip of a switch, no extra books. So if you have students with dyslexia, you don't need to buy anything else for them. Um, that is a one-time use kind of thing. This is in real time. They get to participate just like everyone else. So that is a big overview of Trek Adventure. Would love to connect with you and talk to you more. Again, Joe from Trek AI, and we'll talk to you soon. Thanks.